This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by JackThreads. Some big titles for a little Vita. Details on what might be an even bigger next-generation Kindle Fire. And finally, some details leak on Samsung's next line of superphones. It's not much to go on, but at least a little bit. It's Techno Buffalo's Rumor Roundup. Round 'em up! Woohoo! Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Rumor Roundup. It's Techno Buffalo on Revision 3. My name is Noah Kravitz. I'm editor-at-large for Techno Buffalo, and this is your weekly Rumor Roundup, rounding up all the rumors in the consumer electronics industry. This is the roundup for the week ending today, Friday, March 9th, 2012. This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by our friends over at JackThreads. We're going to start with some big new titles for the little video game that could. Is it the last of the handheld video game consoles? I hope not, but with all the smartphones around, it might be. Sony's PlayStation Vita, our own Joey Davidson, video game editor extraordinaire, rounded up some rumors about some big name titles that might be headed to a PS Vita near you before too long. UK retail giant Play.com leaked not one, not two, not three, but 4 PS Vita titles recently in preparation for an official launch by Sony at a press conference slated to happen in Japan. Now, the titles are ones worth mentioning, starting with Grand Theft Auto Vice City Nights and moving on to Monster Hunter Portable 3, Tales of Innocence R, and Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Is that Type 0 or Type O? That shows you what a gamer I'm not. That's why we have Joey. I'm going to read straight from Joey's story in Techno Buffalo here, because he can say it better than I can. The implications brought on by the potential introduction of both the Grand Theft Auto and Monster Hunter franchises to the PS Vita are enormous. I'm going to stroke my pretend beard there and think about that, because that was a really well-crafted sentence. You can get more of the details on the leak and the launch, if in fact it happens, over on Techno Buffalo. Stay tuned for more on that. Everybody's favorite purveyor of questionable tech rumors, Digitimes, has gone back on an earlier rumor and replaced it with a new one. Digitimes is now saying that Amazon is prepping a 10.1-inch Kindle Fire for delivery in the second half of 2012. This contradicts their earlier rumor that Amazon was prepping an 8.9-inch device to supplement the 7-inch Kindle Fire that's out right now. Now, as I mentioned before, Digitimes is known to throw the rumors around fast and loose, and while they get some right, they get more wrong, so we'll have to see what happens. But in any case, we are expecting some update to the Kindle Fire line later this year, and considering the fact that even though Amazon's reportedly taking a loss on every device sold, they've also become the #1 non-iPad tablet maker in the world. So it would make sense that they're going to introduce a new model this year, and it would also seem to make sense that they would introduce a larger device, probably at a cut price, to go head-to-head with the likes of the new iPad, the Galaxy Tab, Galaxy Note lines from Samsung, and of course the ePad Transformer line from Asus. All right, we're going to take a little break, get a word from our sponsor, JackThreads, and we'll be right back to give you the first leak morsels, however tiny, they're tiny but they're tasty, about Samsung's next line of superphones, the Galaxy S3. Stay tuned. Only suckers pay full price. If you love alternative apparel brands like Kid Robot, Hurley, and Stussy, but hate wasting all your cash on them, listen up. You can score premium brands at up to 80% off every day. Yes, you. There's a new invite-only shopping club just for guys called JackThreads, serving up street, skate, and surfwear brands at prices that will melt your brain. There's a wait list to join, but if you go to jackthreads.com/techno, we'll hook you up right now. That's jackthreads.com/techno, Techno. You'll get instant access to all the killer hookups, so go now. All right, last but certainly not least this week, Todd reports that Samsung has filed some trademarks which may give us an indication of what they're going to call their next line of superphones, the Galaxy S3 line. No details about, what the phones may or may not be, although now we know what you might be able to call the phones. Galaxy Emerge, Galaxy Halo, and Galaxy Stellar. Now, Todd in his article goes on to say if that he was a betting man, he would bet on those being the names used for the various incarnations of the Galaxy S3 line to hit different US carriers, because Samsung likes to do that. They like to have these names that are like the Epic Touch 4G Galaxy S2 5000 Deluxe avec fromage. So we may see the Galaxy S3 Emerge, the Galaxy S3 Halo, and the Galaxy S3 Stellar coming to your favorite U.S. carriers later this year, or we may not. Who knows? They're just trademark applications, but hey, you know, when you're scraping the rumor mill, that's what you do. You scrape, scrape, scrape. That's how you get those tasty morsels. Apparently, I'm hungry. I'm using a lot of food analogies today. So stay tuned for more on the Galaxy S3 whenever Samsung sees fit to launch them, or whenever we get more leaks over on Techno Buffalo. All right, that'll do it for this week's roundup. Don't forget that John Rettinger and Mike Perlman are over in Geneva, Switzerland at the Geneva Motor Show. So if you haven't checked out their coverage, make sure to head over to Techno Buffalo and check it out, as well as their video coverage on Revision 3 and on YouTube. Some really cool high-end stuff being unleashed upon the world in Switzerland, including a roadster version of the Lamborghini Aventador, the Aventador J. It's a roadster that doesn't even have a windshield. There's just these two tiny little windscreens that sit in for windshields. I'd like to get a picture of Mike and John doing 200 miles an hour on the Autobahn in that thing, just so I can see the wind blowing through their hair and feel jealous. All kinds of other stuff going on in Geneva as well, so check out their coverage. And I will, of course, be back next week. I'm actually sitting in for John doing Ask the Buffalo while he's in Geneva, and then I'll be back next Friday with Rumor Roundup. So until then, round 'em up! Woohoo! My name's Noah Kravitz. Thanks to Jack Threads for sponsoring. Thanks to Rev3 for having us. Thanks to you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by the letter N, the letter N, the letter N, the letter N. It's for Noah.